to the quayside in Gateshead for the second staging of the Great North CityGames. The event takes the form of a match between England and Australia over 9 disciplines on the road, on the track and in the field. The hosts took the title last year in formidable fashion with a crushing victory. This time around it promises to be much closer, and with both teams gearing up for the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, it provides the perfect opportunity to get some top-line competition under their belt. The action gets underway with the women's 100-metre hurdles. Your commentary team are Tim Hutchins and Stuart Story.
There is the lineup for this first discipline. Broadbent Blake for England goes in lane 1. Sally Pearson in 2. She should win there very comfortably. Jenna Bennett, the other English representative here, third in the UK Championships, goes in lane 3. And Shannon McCann in lane 4. Well, we've had a couple of warm-up sprints over the last hour, and there was quite a strong following wind in each of those. I don't suppose the wind will have changed much, so we could see something quite special here from Sally Pearson. She's second from top there in that green and white strip for Australia. Away they go. She's a very fast starter, is Sally Pearson, and a great sprinter too, world-class sprinter, and that's coming to the fore now between the barriers. The hurdling's crisp as well, as expected. The margin's very big indeed, 3 or 4 metres as she comes to the line, maybe more. 12.85 there with a 1 metre per second following win for Sally Pearson. Straight away then, the Australians go into the lead, 1-0 to Australia in this England-Australia match.
Well, this is a class athlete versus the rest, really, and Pearson, as you've said, is world-class in every sense. She comes off the hurdle brilliantly. The trail leg is very, very slick. She gets to the ground quickly, attacks the hurdles in front and runs away. She's got a very fine basic sprint speed, and look at the way she comes off here. No pressure at all. There's one faller there on the outside. That was Shannon McCann.
Well, Sally Pearson wins as expected, 12.85 confirmed there. 1 point for Australia with that win. She's the outstanding favourite, of course, for the Commonwealth Games title. Just 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Oh, it was so much fun. I mean, I've never seen a crowd like this before, so close to us, so it's really exciting. The track is really good for what it is. I didn't run too badly on it, actually, and the weather is absolutely amazing today. It's like an Australian winter, actually.
And there is a pole vault in this quayside event as well, and this is Steve Lewis representing England. Lewis, who's been at the top of the tree as far as British pole vaulting is concerned for some time now, needs a good performance here. He's up against Steve Hooker, the Australian world champion. And that was a good vault, very good vault indeed. In fact, he's left his coach that he's been with for a long, long time, that's Steve Rippon, and he's gone along with Alex Parnoff, who's working with Hooker, and of course he's been training with Hooker, and that's good. That's a good move for him. He really does need to get his act together in major competitions. High carry of the pole, really drives it in. Accelerating that plant is so important, and that's a very good clearance indeed. Well, this next event is the mile for women. Let's have a look at the athletes competing here. Hannah England of England, Jenny Meadows of England, then Helen Clitheroe England, and then the 3 Australians, Caleb Knight, Ara Nycod and Erica Fountain. Well, words about Hannah England, the UK champion at 1500 metres this year. And incidentally, the meeting best performance is 4 minutes and 29 set by Kelly Holmes in 2004. The British best, 4:19 by Lisa Dobrisky, who actually was due to run in this race but has had to withdraw. And the 2 English athletes now beginning to pull away with McKnight in 3rd place.
Well, this is exactly what Helen Clitheroe there leading would have wanted, is to try and sort them out early on. Only 3 minutes on the clock, so they've got about a minute and a half of running to go yet. And Helen pushing on hard. She'll want to break Hannah England here, but England, remember, has come on in leaps and bounds this year. 10th in European Championships, 1500 metres. Great strength and wonderful speed to Hannah England. So unless Helen can shake Hannah in this next 30 seconds or so, I think the writing could be on the wall.
Yeah, certainly. Hannah England was American-based for a lot of the time. She won the NCAA 1500 metres a couple of seasons ago, indoors and out, and representing Florida State. And she won the Newcastle Games last year, as I said earlier. She's the defending champion, and that sprint finish may well pay dividends here in this race, and I think I agree with you. I think she has got the sprint finish because the kind of training that Helen Clitheroe has been doing is more suited to steeplechase rather than 1500 metres, and that may well be the decisive factor. But these two way ahead now, so England are going to take the 1-point victory here, whichever one of them wins.
They're winding it up now. They've got the wind behind them on this northern side of the Tyne, and they're on the track, Stuart.
They are indeed coming in towards the finish now. Then Hannah England, as we thought, moves away very strongly indeed, and she's coming through to win this quite comfortably. The applause of the crowd round this finishing straight. Clitheroe in second place. There's a real battle by the Australians in third, but here we are. England gets it, Clitheroe in second place, and 4:38, so they're miles ahead there. Erica Fountain coming through for the Australians in third place. Jenny Meadows finding that a very tough outing indeed. Hannah England's time 4:37.46, Helen Clitheroe 4:38.89, and then Erica Fountain coming through very strongly in the final stages to get ahead of Kyla McKnight, who was the leading Australian for most of that race. Well, just looking at the pole vault, and Steve Hooker, the Australian world champion, 5 metres and 40 this attempt. Oh no, he's come off the edge. Oh, he's come off the edge of the bed, and I just hope that he's not injured there, because that's always one of the dangers, that if you come off the side, let's hope that that is not a major problem for Steve Hooker. You could see him trying to salvage the whole thing. I think he's okay.
What does he do wrong here?
He just drifted away to the right. I've seen him do that before in the athletics track. Let's just hope that he's not hurt himself.
That looked pretty nasty.
It's a second failure at 5:40, but he's walking away, and we're grateful for that. Well, Steve Lewis, 5 metres and 40, this height. They're finding it difficult here. And I think that could be his third final. It is his third and final attempt, and he's gone. He's only had one success at 5:20, so that's not a good day for Steve Lewis.
Next event, the 2-milers, and what a high-quality field it is. The 4 England representatives, Andy Vernon, Chris Thompson, Andy Baddeley and Stuart Stokes, just oozes quality. But the Australian quartet is pretty strong too. Craig Mottram, Collis Birmingham, Benson Lawrence and Mitch Keeley. And Craig Mottram, incidentally, ironically, the only athlete of the 8 not selected for the Commonwealth Games.
Well, this is bringing athletics close to the crowds, and you can see how close they are there as they go across the Millennium Bridge and head out towards the Newcastle side of this quay. Wonderful venue for these events. Birmingham in second place, and of course Craig Mottram in third. It really is pushing along, and Australia here are going to be very tough to beat, I reckon. I think Australia may well go back into the lead here.
Well, they went through 1 mile in 4:19 off the Millennium Bridge there and back onto the quayside and Newcastle, the north side of the river, and it's Collis Birmingham now who is pushing it on, the 25-year-old. He too is planning to double at the Commonwealth Games over 5,000 and 10,000 metres. He set a personal best for 5,000 at Eugene this summer. That was 13:10, but he can boast enormous strength at 10,000 metres as well. Funnily enough, his 10,000 metre personal best almost identical to that of Chris Thompson there in the dark glasses, who is just tucked in, almost slipstreaming the Australian. Mottram still looking strong there in third place, but remember, just 1 point up for grabs for the winner of this race. The rest of them, well, they're looking for a competition and a good time, but in the match scoring, it's the winner that gets the point. And Birmingham turning the screw now, yes, really testing these men behind him.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Andy Baddeley, though, his personal best at 3,000 and 5,000 this year, but he still says he's going to stick with the 1,500 metres. He's just to the left of his shot now. At one stage it looked as though he might be struggling a little bit, but now he looks as though he's back in the race, and we'll see. He can finish as well. He's got a good strong sprint finish, as we saw in Oslo a couple of seasons ago. Incidentally, the beating record here, 8:42, that's Kipchoge in October of 2008. That's the sort of target, but at 4:19 they were on schedule for inside that time, but the best on record is 8:14, which was Sami Kipkeita in Carlsbad back in March in the year 2000. The race now beginning to evolve.
They turn, swing left now. And we're in the latter stages of the race. We've got a great shot just now of the Tyne Bridge. Ironically, of course, the structure upon which the Sydney Harbour Bridge was modelled. And it's Mottram who hits the front for the first time. Birmingham, is he spent? Chris Thompson shadowing Mottram. They had a great dust-up just a week or so back in the 10-kilometre road race. But Craig Mottram, who's rounding into shape, wouldn't it be ridiculous if he won this race against several of the very, very strong 10,000, 5,000, 1,500-metre runners who are heading for the Commonwealth Games? If he won this race, beat them all, and yet he is not in the Australian team for the Commonwealth Games. They've negotiated the swing bridge for the second time. The slight incline now before the finishing straight. Chris Thompson digging deep to hang on to the tall Australian.
And Badley is still in there with a chance. We'll see. It was very difficult to see how far behind he was there, but still very much in with a chance in the final stages of this. Just watch the clock. There's probably a minute or so to go in this race.
4:19 at 1 mile, remember. 8 minutes coming up shortly. The Bupa Great North 2 miles is turning into a real humdinger here. Chris Thompson yet again hits the front. He's so determined, Chris. Remember, he was the man who set up the pace early on at a very, very honest tempo. He's got a slight gap now, he and Mottram, to Andy Badley in the background there. Badley about 5 or 6 metres down. He's very good at generating good finishing speed as Andy Badley, but he needs to be closer than that. And Chris Thompson is winding it up. Thompson there with Mottram on his right. Has he got the legs? Mottram kicked for home. It looks like it could be a win for Australia here. We're on the track, but Chris Thompson's not letting him go. What a run this is from the Australian Mottram, and Chris Thompson right on his heels. They come down the track in the last 50 or 70 metres. It's a battle to the line for that one precious point. Craig Mottram then, he's the quickest man of all of them over the mile, over 5,000 and 2 miles, and today he does take the win, defeats them all these men heading off to the Commonwealth Games in New Delhi. Craig Mottram, well, that'll be a very, very satisfying victory indeed for him on a personal level with a time of 8:31, but importantly for Australia too, that precious point has been garnered.
I was the only one in the race today that wasn't going to not going to the Commonwealth Games, so a little bit of satisfaction. I really wanted to come and do well here today. A few of the selectors for Athletics Australia are here, so they'll be scratching their heads maybe, but we told them in April, but that's the way it goes, and I've got to wear it and get on with it and get ready for next year.
Confirmation of that win for Craig Mottram from Australia. 8:31, just by less than a second back to Chris Thompson for England, but it's the point for Australia that has been won.
We began by saying he's a class act, and we end by saying that too.